Couple hours left in a Friday afternoon that is turning into a bit of a mess for the overall market. Very negative still, really no bounce whatsoever in equities right across the board. When we last left, it was about a 1% kind of a day. Now all the way up to 2% for both the NASDAQ and the S&P 500. You can see the Dow holding up a little bit better, but not much. 1.9% right now. All three now back in negative territory for the week as well. It's going to be 3 weeks in a row to the downside for the S&P, the Dow, and the NASDAQ. TSX here in Toronto, 1.7% to the downside. Not a very good end of the week. We did have a little bit of strength in gold and gold mining stocks specifically to start the day, but no change. Everything to the downside at this point. 2.14% for Brazil. Crude oil about 1.5% in negative territory to wrap up the week as well, with half an hour to go in the pit session there for crude. 3.2 for Bitcoin. Yeah, a bit of a tumble to say the least for Bitcoin. Let's have a look at the sectors here for the S&P. Not much in the way of green to talk about. That's Twitter. If you zoom in there real tight, 3.8% to the upside for Twitter. Take-Two and EA both having a pretty good day on some acquisition or buyout rumors in that space floating around this afternoon. SIVB was earnings, ALLE up here in the industrials group. All of the defense stocks bouncing back up. That's UAL. It's tough to see, but UAL still in positive territory, so airlines showing a bit of strength. It's still healthcare stocks leading to the downside, all of them in the red. Same story for the tech sector down here, all of them in negative territory. Consumer discretionary stocks also under significant pressure. What a day it has been. Now 2.14% up there for the S&P in negative territory. Hope your day is going well. Hope your afternoon is going well. It's Friday. We'll get through a couple hours here, still pretty negative. We'll have a look at the overall market with Arun. Arun back with us once again this afternoon to talk us through what is happening to the futures. We are below 4,300 on the futures now for the S&P. So key levels coming into play for sure as far as support is concerned. If you're joining us for the first time, we spend some time every afternoon kind of going back, looking at some of the opportunities that we presented to you in the pre-market. This morning, if you joined us, we were talking a lot about Snapchat. We were talking about Tesla. We were talking about some relative weakness in chip stocks as well. So we'll get into that. Sean's going to lead the way here, though, and give you a rundown on one of his trades from this morning.
Hey, what's up? It's today's trade of the day. And again, today brought to you by Meta, Facebook. So Facebook today down that 2%. And look, unfortunately, I've been saying the same thing all week, and that is the story of the NQs, right? The NASDAQ down now 2% and lower going as we see right now. This is actually near or at actually day's low right now for the NASDAQ. So we keep picking on the weakest names. The minute that Facebook broke below 200, we had some negative reports earlier on this week about a worry on advertising, a worry on corporate spend. Snapchat actually came out yesterday with very, very similar worries, although their stock not getting hit like this. Facebook continues to get absolutely beat down. And actually, let's just look at the 20-minute real quick. This is what I'm talking about. Here's 200. Ever since we've given that up, a little bit of a pop back up there. But just look at this decline in the last couple of days on Facebook. So we definitely know Facebook and AMD are two names that we want to be going short. And all we did today was, again, like, I have no idea. I got to do better on this. This choppiness off the open, we actually had Apple and AMD short up here, but we forgot about Facebook. We left it alone. We didn't forget about it. We just left it alone. We were trading other names. And this is a tip for you. I'm just going to talk about Facebook, and I'm going to try to teach about what we're looking at here. But there's not a great idea to be short, and maybe I should flip over my strategy and only short like the NASDAQ itself, because like I'm in Apple, I'm in AMD, I'm in Microsoft, I'm in Nvidia, I'm in Facebook. These are all NASDAQ names. So if you're going to be short the index, you got to watch out, because if it starts to pop back up, all of those names that I just gave you are all like the top in the top 10, if not all the top 5 weightings in the NASDAQ, mind Alphabet in that group. But anyway, so as it's coming down, we made a lot of money on those trades. But then we're like, you know what? It's the middle of the day. And Facebook was actually holding up pretty good in here to start the day. So it was like, okay, let's see what we can do. This line right here is the 50-period moving average. This is a 1-minute chart, okay? I'm a little anxious now because we're trading above it, but I still have it short on. And all I was really doing was just trying to find levels that I wanted to play off of. This was more just like, let's get into Facebook right now because we felt like we were going to protect this level of 187. So when we first got in here at about 186.50, we gave ourselves about 50 cents worth of downside. But you can see what worth of upside risk there. So 186.50 giving us to that 50 period. Because look, we now have data, right? It bounced. Uh-oh, what just happened? Oh, no, right as we're doing this, we have a monster wick up there to 201. So now this is not going to look that great, but that's okay. We'll continue to talk about it. Hopefully that corrects itself. Anyways, bounced off the 50 period, bounced off the 50 period. Then all of a sudden, we was like, okay, let's respect that. Look, respecting it here. More shorts right there again. We get nervous here thinking it's going to break, but it doesn't. Then we respect that 50 period again. Out, 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 out. These are all crazy outs. They're great outs for me. Then it comes back in. Look, right back to the 50 period. It does break above one of our lines there where we get out, but that's okay because we're reloaded to the downside again. Reload, out, 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 out. Then right again here. Now we get into a barcode area of 185. 185, and it's too bad you can't see this right now, but 185 has held through this whole day. So we go short, not on the 50 period here, but just because we're near that 185 number. So right now we're short like 184.70 or so, and a lot of these outs are down in the low side of that. 184.50, so on and so forth. We're taking less right now on the trade. The reason why now is an ultimate scout mode. I'm nervous about this trade now, and I wanted to bring it to you because you see how we're trading above the 50 period right now. So we do look for this thing to break. If we get that 185 break, we'll give it a little room, but then we're going to be out. Maybe it's a change of direction, but remember, we're watching out for this. If the NASDAQ keeps wanting to go lower, we should hold on to Facebook. It's Friday afternoon. It's been a horrible week. Does anybody want to hold anything into the weekend? Next week is big time earnings. Microsoft coming through, Meta coming through, Alphabet coming through. They're all within the next few days. So I don't know. I'm a little bit nervous about this myself. So let's just keep on shorting these big cap tech names. It's been working all week. It's been working all year, to be quite honest with you. Let's keep that pace going. Facebook is your trade of the day.
Yeah, ugly, to say the least. To wrap things up this afternoon for tech, specifically for, well, let's be honest, the entire market. Now 2+% to the downside for the S&P and the NASDAQ. Just no bounce whatsoever at this point for stocks. That is the link, guys, for the watch list. We'll go back over a few opportunities, as I mentioned, that we were talking about in the pre-market this morning. If you do need that link, all you need is your email address. You can have that every single day. The SPY, as I mentioned, now 2+% to the downside. 4,300 came and went. Let's maybe bring in Arun here and get a look at where we're at right now, because Arun, you showed that area this morning on the futures as to where, you know, there may be some support, but no sign yet.
She gone? That's all I can say, because there's nothing left. What do we do? 4,300 was the last little bit, and now that we've cleared that, I've got nothing in terms of support. We're going to have to develop some more trading on, to find something, but next level down. This is the 4,300 line. This is on the daily, by the way. We've cleared that little buy zone. 4,300 gone. So if we delete that, what do I have left now? I have 41.25, which would take us back down to the March lows. So 41.25 into 4,100, that's going to be next up. But that's, again, 175 points to 200 points away from where we are now. So there's bound to be some levels that develop over the next few days. But keep in mind, though, with big heavyweight earnings coming out, and given the weight that these names have in these indexes, so Apple, Microsoft, 1 and 2, if you get these earnings in not favorable, to say the least, this market's going down very quickly, and all it needs is two earnings from two big heavyweights at the 10% on Microsoft and 12% on Apple. That's the weightings in these indexes, and specifically in the NASDAQ. We can get down there in a hurry. As much as it's 200 points away, those two names can take us down there in a hurry. So we have a ton of space to the downside. As you can see, we still have that upside resistance level potentially for any bounces that we can fade. But now, after 2 days of doing 2+% on the NASDAQ, this market is really opening up on the S&P as well to the downside.
Yeah, so one trade there. Yeah, good talk there. We're getting out some Elons right now. The biggest trade for me to be worried about here is Netflix. Netflix takes down that day low of the all-time low, the week low here. Remember I said buy, could be a buying opportunity here on the third day. This is the third day into the afternoon, and right now we're at lows. So if you haven't been in yet, now is maybe a good opportunity, but I feel like with big cap, like we mentioned, the big guys coming next week, Netflix could be in for even more of a wild ride, so you might not want to do anything right now, but my out's going to be right here, 214.50 or so. If we break this high on Netflix, we're going to be out. We're going to try to average in. We're actually waiting I thought we were waiting in the 20s. There we are. So if Netflix does come back up into this area, we should be able to get some shorts. So that's what we're waiting for, 213 and change. Average it into here. Let's just see. If Netflix wants to take it, fine. But we're going to go short right now on the previous low. And we've been holding this now for an hour. So I believe in this. We didn't even get it out at 210. Now I am waiting to get out a half at 210 for that $1.50 because, again, after we take this average price, then we're going to lose about $1.50 if it goes back up to the upside. So we're going to try to take that right there. The Facebook that we just talked about, I cleaned up the chart a little bit, but then we got another bad wick there, but we just took another out. Look at this, 2 more outs as Facebook came and just tested below that 50 period. So right now, we're pretty jacked up, man. We're having another big day here, so happy with that. But right now, Facebook is my number one worry, but not a large one. We will probably be averaging into this soon.
Busy afternoon, as you might hear in the background. Lots of noise, lots of chatter, lots of excitement with this market continuing to the downside. Next one on the list we had was Gap. We were talking about this morning some operational issues they were discussing aftermarket yesterday and in the pre-market. Headwinds going forward, supply chain issues. Ends up being not much to see here. There was a bit of a flush at the open this morning, guys. We end up holding nicely. One of very few. I mean, yeah, it's down 20%, but one of very few that are not falling apart right now.
Yeah, I both of us try to play Gap, and I try to play Gap on the pop off the open. Couldn't get that. There was no pop off the open because we were thinking, hey, 1250s could be good. And what does Gap do? It tries something around 8 o'clock in the morning where it tries to get back above 12 and then continues its move down. You knew when it starts to do this kind of a move to the downside, it's going to be tough to get a long on or a short on. And you look at the daily and you're like, okay, well, it's pretty obvious like how you want to play this, because now at this point, when we start down this far down, you've got to try to play it as close to 13 as possible because that's where the low has been in the last little bit here. We've tried to bounce off that around the 24th and then again in early April. So try to get as close to 13 even as you can. That's what I was trying to do here with that pricing. Obviously, you're not getting it. And that's the thing with some of these trades is, especially with the way the market's moving, if you can't get the prices that you want, you got to let them go. You don't need to chase them. There's times for chasing stocks. This is not the time for it, especially on Gap right there. With the way it's been moving through that 12, you need to get the prices in because the risk is somewhat high. The further down you go to chase it, the more riskier it becomes because of the snapback potential. So you got to get it in the mid-12s. If you can't get that, you leave it alone, and Gap shows you exactly what it's got as it starts just accelerating to the downside into the open. Even after the open, we got as low as 1107, and then we finally stabilized and moved to the upside. So by the time we got to 1150, and you're not even getting that 1250 anymore, you walk away from the trade, call it another day. At some point, Gap will come back into this range here, back into this 13, into this 14. We can probably work a short there when it does. But for today, and for the trade's done for today, but for now at the very least, definitely not working anything at these prices.
All right. Yeah, I mean, just talk about Gap, same thing with me. I mean, we wanted to go short there. We were able to take a little bit of profit early on that short. Look at the drop down. Wow. Not executing well. They have people leaving from Old Navy. Not good. Blaming Old Navy for some of their execution problems. But I'm really surprised here that it's kind of stayed where it has now. We're on 2-year lows now for Gap. So it's going to be not a winning trade for me here, but a couple nice shorts into there as well. And then the rest is basically history. trajectory here as we tried to go long and then it broke through the 50 period. So a couple wins there, busted out of that trade, went long, and then lost another dime or so on that long. And then since then, it's basically been, as we like to say around here, kind of barcoding and not doing a whole hell of a lot. I feel like if you break back down below this 1140 area right there, you might have a trade into 11 to close the day. But gap right now, just wasn't as much fireworks as I thought it would be, considering the look here on the daily chart. I mean, they haven't even reported yet. They break down this level, and I just thought we would have continued that move. But hey, I guess 20% is pretty good on a self-guide lower. So at least they're taking responsibility and letting people know that, hey, their earnings aren't going to be great. I look for that earnings day coming. I believe it's late May or so, but gap right there is going to be an exciting one when that comes out.
I believe 26th or 27th or something like that for Gap. So yeah, still a month to go before we even get their earnings. So lots to come for Gap, some of the retail stocks as well, catching a bit of a sell today. Along with that, Netflix, obviously we were talking this morning, would it revisit the low? Yes, the answer. Would there be a bounce? It's trying, guys, but with this overall weakness, Netflix in trouble again today.
Netflix has been, after catching that 250 short, this market has stabilized, or Netflix has stabilized and given you the levels it wants to work with on the top end. And the way it's holding that top end is impressive because, man, you could have taken that 226 short how many times now? You could have taken it yesterday open and today open. They pierced 226 and immediately lost it. Why do I say 226? Because if you go back to the day we fell from 250, we stalled out between 226 and 228 multiple times. First in the morning, around 10:30 to 11 o'clock, and then we did an afternoon run, failed there again. Pre-market the following day took us down towards that 218. To me, I thought that was enough to take a shot on the short side. Got out of the way once it bounced back up, but then it went right back into that 226 into 228 area, failed again, and went after the lows. Bounced off the lows. And then today we come in like, okay, maybe double bottom, take a shot to the upside. I didn't take the trade, but again, it's right back into that same area, instant move up, instant move down, and back towards the lows we go. Netflix is building something here around that 230 area. So when it's this obvious, you got to give it a ton of flexibility, right? So I'm going to say 226 all the way up to 230. 230 is probably going to have to be the break point for any sort of longs here, but that does open up the trade for the long if you ever get that break, because, hey, it's been quite the move down from, check this out, from 350 and multiple attempts at bouncing, and we're not getting past 230, yeah, that's going to be a problem. But whenever we do, that opens the door for a nice consolidation breakout to the upside, and then you can maybe take a look at that 250 and then potentially maybe in the future at some point, that 350 once again. But Netflix showing you where it does not want to be, and it does not want to be between 226 and 230.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it. I'm long in my own account right now at these prices, and we'll just see where we go. But for a day trade, I've already taken that low. We've talked about why we like that today. That was the low from yesterday, 211.50. So that's the price I have. I waited for it to cross, so I got 211.30, unfortunately. But that's the print that I have there. When it was at 210, we easily could have taken it out for $1.30, but we didn't want to. We thought there was more trade here. So I am looking to get short right now, into 213 and change to average into this position. And then if it takes out this 214.50, just to make sure I have the stop order out. Yes, I do. So if it takes out that 214.50, then we're gone on that one. So let's see if the NASDAQ wants to rally. It looks like it's trying to. It's breaking through the 50 period right now. I think Netflix is a buy at some point. It's just a matter of when. And look, if you don't believe that, then don't get into it. This is not a name. I think there's lower lows coming possibly on this name, especially. And the reason why I say that, I know it's like wishy-washy. Next week, we have all those big cap tech, right? So when those guys come through, if they don't report well and people will beat up on Netflix again. We saw that with PayPal. We saw that with Facebook. There we go. So now we're averaged into that position as the futures are looking to go a little higher here into the close. So maybe there is a turnaround happening here on Friday. But for right now, we're going to be short into this name. We have our outs. We have our targets. What's my average price right now? 212. So I was debating if we did come back into here, maybe we do respect that 211.50. So we could put a bid down there, but we'll see what we want to do here. 211.50. Maybe we put a another bid to take some kind of profit. We just got stopped out on AMD short. AMD, we averaged into that position right now. It just takes out 89 actually right there. So a little bit of that's about I think our average price was, we took one short there and one short there. So average price probably about 89.80 or so, out 20 cents there on that AMD move upside. We're still waiting on Facebook though. That's up here. We're going to average into this soon. Don't know why we didn't get that. Oh, 185 clean is where my average is going to be. It went to 185. 184.97, unbelievable. We missed that by a little bit. Let's put that down here just in case that was a wick off top. Oh man, that sucks. We should have been short there. A big amount of shares that, oh darn. We missed that by 3 cents on that reload there. Sucks to be me, but Facebook looking to get short here as that we just got blown out of AMD, probably right back down now. Facebook is the one we want, not AMD, guys.
Yeah. Let's go to one who, it's showing a little bit of relative strength here as we head into the final couple hours here. Tesla, guys, already positive on the day. First of all, for Tesla, we were wondering if 1,000 would come into play. Trying to bounce off 1,000 as we speak, but up 0.4 here. A couple of price target increases again this morning coming off their earnings yesterday.
Says a lot about Tesla, right? Being able to withstand this kind of turbulence in the market. And it's the only one I'm noticing that's got some weight in the NASDAQ index. Nope. Check that. It's one of the two in the NASDAQ that's got some weight in the NASDAQ index that's actually positive. The other one being AVGO, which just turned positive at 0.1%. Tesla up 0.66% as the market moves to the upside here. And it had earnings, great. Obviously, we found out that Cathie Wood sold some either as of earnings coming out or just before earnings coming out. We don't know yet, but anyways, it did get sold off after the day after earnings came out, or the morning after earnings came out here, and we went up and we decided to fall off yesterday like the rest of the market did. And we're finding stability. You go back to the daily and you get a decent level through this 970, and that's what we're looking at. It has to be this 970. 970 break to the downside opens a door, but Tesla doesn't want to look at it. So that says a lot, right? There's a lot of juice here waiting around this 1,000, and there's a lot of flexibility down to that 970. So if we can catch a bit in this market at some point, given the relative strength of Tesla, you could easily see Tesla go right back to 1,100 again and maybe take a shot at that 1,150. But it just goes to show how Tesla's withstanding the storm, and it is trying to find a way to get long here in this market. So holding pattern on a stock is a good thing if it's not getting sold off like 2% on the NASDAQ yesterday and then today as well. So it says a lot about Tesla's strength, but I'm going to keep an eye on that 970. As long as we can hold that, that'll be a decent level to bounce off of and maybe take a shot towards that 1,100.
Man, we just that move up there just got stopped out of AMD and on Facebook. That sucks. But we are getting close to some levels here that we have to try to respect. So taking that out, looks like we tried to get going here on Facebook back to the upside. So that's the fear that we kind of retrace back to VWAP there. The futures bounced off that high rate there, 13,500. So yeah, we got out of our trade there. So we are not short anything right now, but we should be. So I'm debating getting back in, man. Look, one move, it's going to go against you. Does that mean we need to change everything? I don't know. I'm just watching these futures here, watching Microsoft and Facebook and Apple right into the close. I know we're talking about Tesla. I think Arun just did a great job there on some of those levels. We've already bounced off 1,000 a couple times. We respected that 990. So other than that, man, not much more to go on there. Damn you, Facebook, man. That sucks. We just got knocked out of that one. And we got knocked out of our Netflix as well. That one's fine. I'm not so upset about that. It's more this Facebook trade that we got hit out of there. Still obviously positive on the day. There's no problem with that. It's just, that sucks. We just took that hit on Facebook of approximately 50 cents or so, and it's right back to where we had our average price. So that's frustrating right there, but that's a life of a scalper. Facebook trying to come back in now, as is the futures. We should have got more short there, guys. That sucks, but we are out of all these tech plays. Need to find ways to get back in.
Guys, the 10-year trying to bounce here significantly back to 291. This is a daily chart of the 10-year. So yeah, this has happened over the past week or so. We're back to 291, as I mentioned, but trying to bounce currently. Frank Caberna coming up in 20 minutes or so. He's going to talk about interest rates. He's going to talk about yields. He's going to talk about the U.S. dollar. Remember, U.S. dollar at recent highs today. So lots of movement in currency markets and interest rate markets all week long, obviously, but ending the week at the highs essentially. CLF, we mentioned in the pre-market, coming off of a decent earnings report this morning, but gives it all back, similar to what we saw in Tesla yesterday. Gives it all back and then some. Now down 2.7 for CLF, guys.
Well, CLF was, Chastesk, I believe, this morning says, don't you dare touch my CLF on the short side. I said, maybe there's a fade here. Never got around to doing that. To be honest with you, I was a little hands-off on the market today. I wasn't very active. I've only got, 6 trades. And usually you saw me yesterday, right? I was in like 7 positions, had them all day. Today, I've only got Facebook left at 66 cents out right now. Underneath that 185 short, I mean, I missed it, so I stepped in at 184. It didn't look like, by the time I got back from my walk, it didn't look like there was a chance I would get that 185, so I was willing to pay up. It's a daily low, it's a multi-day low. I believe it's also quite a large low for Facebook, but back to CLF. The read on CLF was fade, 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 that rally as soon as you can find a reason to do it. And of course, because I was a little hands-off, I didn't really press too much on this one, but there was an option of fade here right against that 34. We were trading at 32.5 or so, and you look at the 5-minute chart, you can start to see it stalling out here. Pre-market bounce around 32, comes down to 31, takes a shot at that 32.5. At this point, the shot would have to come right here through that 31. It's right about here. Right as the show was ending, there could be a shot on the 31 short against the 34 top, and you have the daily to back you up too. So at that point, you know, with all that resistance there, there's a shot there. If you wanted to take it, you were going to take it. Again, you got to be on top of it. If you want to trade, you got to be on top of it. Me, I was a little, I wasn't going to push it today anyways. Like I said today, some days you got to step off the gas a little bit. Obviously, you've seen how the market's gone. You should step right on the gas if you were on the short side again. But because of where the futures were, I had no clue which direction I wanted to favor. And usually if I'm confused on which direction, I just kind of step back a little bit and let the market do its thing. And the market has done its thing and said, hey, we're going to the downside. So that was a read on CLF. But that 34 level, that high from April the 5th, from 32 onwards, there's a ton of action. You got to respect it. It's pretty obvious at this point. So you see the daily, you see what's going on, and the market and CLF, if it was strong, it would do what Tesla did, but it's not. It's actually falling off worse than the market. It's down 2.81%. So that says a lot about CLF's weakness. And here we go to the downside. Next up is going to be about that 27.5 to 27 even level, which is going to be your next support point. And I noticed on the chat there's someone who asked me, how am I not worried about the Facebook move above 185? Because my stop's not there. My stop's higher up. So that's why I'm not sitting on that one there.
Short Facebook?
Yeah, I'm short, but I'm short like out of the money, right? I'm short below 184. So I'm just going to wait on this one. It's not that big of a deal. The only reason I'm going to Facebook is because of the daily. As we mentioned this morning, somebody was asking me, the only reason it came up is someone was asking, it's this level right here. It's the multi-day low that we were putting in March or so, and then we bounced off of it yesterday, and then today we kind of got through 185, came back above, got through 184, now we bounced back above, and that's why I'm giving it a ton of flexibility through here. So not too worried about that bounce as the market has now come right back in. So that's why you're not seeing me, I guess, worried about it, because it's not nearby where I want to get out.
Yeah, well, and again, we've talked about this over and over again. Arun puts way more buying power or whatever, risk, I guess is the proper terminology, into the futures. I had to get out there. If it would have, if it would have kept going, I would have been fried and then would have lost basically the whole day. So it does break through that 185 there. And I had to get out, and now I just want to throw up, to be honest with you, because I got back in once we went into this area, but darn, oh man, that sucks. We're still gonna trade it. Now I'm gonna give it to that wick here, and other than that, no, I'm just gonna build it in. If we get taken out again, then that's fine. And honestly, that's what it is at this point. But CLF today, another positive name for me, a good one. Looks like we're going to be wrong on the read overall, but we were right early on. We got these 31 bids, and then look at this out, 32. We basically have the high of the day here. So long in the pre-market, and then once the market opened up, then we take it up here, 32.60, some nice outs, 32.10, 32.20, take it out on momentum, buy it back there, take it out. And then right when we broke back down through 31, that was it. We should have probably reversed short, obviously, but no damage done on CLF. took all the profits here. We talked about trying to defend that 31 area. That's exactly what we did until it didn't work, which is right there. And then it just fell back down the whole way. So CLF, a very, very positive name for me today. But, you know, we got out of it early right there off open. When all of that happened, you see some consolidation here, then a drop back down. But Cliff, I still think it works. You're still up 30% on the year here today, despite being down 2.9% on what was a good report. So, yeah, that name continues to get hit a little bit, but that's CLF right now, a good name today. I don't know if we're going to talk about frustrating stocks. It was on there a second ago, but now it's not. So CLF, Brendan, yeah, not super happy with the move to the downside, but we took our profits and we got out of there. So might be one to buy in the long term here in the next couple of days.
Yeah, I just realized I didn't actually put it on there today. Frustrating stocks. One of those kind of days, though, guys, where it's easy to get frustrated, easy to get kind of fed up with moves going, you know, maybe against the way one anticipated them to, even with strength, you know, in many areas in the pre-market this morning. We've seen nothing but selling once again. So, yeah, let's cover maybe some frustrations from this morning.
Okay, for me, it's a little bit different just because I wasn't, again, you could see the futures and it was going to be a little bit dicey to trade. So in these situations, I don't get involved too much, right? We have support down through the 70 area. We need to bounce. I guess the only frustrating part is with the futures, it didn't bounce enough for me to get a short. I wanted to participate higher up. I wasn't willing to step down. So that is a little annoying. But in terms of equity positions and trading, we're up on Micron. We're up on, actually, we stepped into Walmart for a small little long that actually made some money too. Micron, Walmart, Asana, Marvell, all in the money. But again, 3 shorts, 1 long, all made money. But I wasn't too, I guess, active or engaged with them just because of where they were. It's different when the futures are, you know, you're expecting them to do something and then it doesn't do roughly what you would like them to do. But here you can see somewhat of a chop coming until they got through that 50. At that point, that was gone. But I guess for me, like I said, the frustrating part is that I didn't get filled. I didn't get a chance to get a shot on the futures on the short side here, north of these 90s, because that would have been the preferable price. Also control the risk a little bit. As you guys know, I'm very on top of my risk. I got to be on top of my risk because there's very little room for error. So for me, when it comes to futures, I need to get specific prices to make the risk make sense. If I don't get that, I don't step in, right? I'm okay with that. That's how I operate, and I'm okay with that.
I don't know. Right there. Yeah, I mean, I'm just so peed off right now, even just with Facebook. I mean, I can just use this as my frustrating stock. Like, it's not. I really have been enjoying trading it today. It's just that wick that just happened, guys. Like, oh man, I obviously it ran a lot of stops, but I mean, you had the wick also here in the NASDAQ that just happened. So it's like it's equal on both. But like we just got stopped out there at 185.30 on Facebook when we had tons of shares into that. Well, not tons, but enough shares to make it well worth it. And then right now, about 10 minutes later, I'm getting it out at 184 clean. Like it's just stupid. I give up $1.30 there. And like Arun said, man, it's, you know, like if you're sitting there not trading that many shares and you're just kind of like holding on to something, then yeah, I mean, that's what can go, right? And you can hold it, you wait for a little bit of a longer period. But I've just been sort of scalping, as you can see. So that's part of the scalper's worst case scenario, is just when it gets a little bit, you know, past your levels. Like my level was kind of 185. We gave it a little bit of room, and then it just spiked up and took that out. And unfortunately, it wasn't stock specific. It was the market. So for me, it's at that wick right there. Look, it also cost me a grip on AMD because, I mean, AMD now at day's low. Look at this, short, hits that, spiked up, down. So we just got out at 89, man. It's at 88.30. So, you know, you might say like 70 cents isn't that much, but I mean, it's trade your own book, trade your own risk. So, you know, as Facebook comes down here and is now printing $1.40 lower than where I got out 10 minutes ago, and I just take it, we'll spin it. But yeah, I'm frustrated because although my net is in a happy, joy kind of place, But mentally there on that stop, yeah, not great. Just what can you do? Nothing. That's why it's frustrating sometimes being a day trader, and just like it just hits your stops. Your stops get run. It has nothing to do with my stop. It's everybody was at the same level. I thought giving it that much room was good, but the futures did spike up there. What are you going to do? Sometimes those candles continue. Sometimes they're those wick off tops. That happened to me on Facebook. It happened to me on AMD, and it's really lucky that we didn't get into Softy because I was very, very close to punching into Microsoft long as well. So that could have been a double disaster there. But hey, we're 50 cents in the money now with Facebook and cruising for a bruising now as we're looking at some downside moves. So I'm glad I got back in. Unfortunately, I had to get back in 70 cents later. So that part sucks, but able to make some money and end the day on a high note and maybe a low note as far as the NASDAQ is concerned. But hey, there we go. Breaking back down through 184 maybe here. A good trade for me. We're now 60 cents in the money. Let's just see where this goes. But yeah, you guys all know that, man. Shout out to everybody that's watching and that is an active trader like me. Sometimes you're going to get wicked out and you're going to make trades that you can't believe that just happened. So that's my Facebook moment right there. You have a frustrating one, Brendan?
Probably, if I looked hard enough. There's one or two. VLON was one that's now actually, as we speak, breaking back to the downside, but still hasn't really done much today. It's stuck between 2 and 250. Had to be super patient with that one. I mean, there was that. There's MITQ was another one that you know, even with the overall market weakness, there really wasn't, especially in small caps, there really wasn't much follow through on any of the small caps that were moving in the pre-market back to the downside. I wanted to mention some of the Chinese names also coming back. It's impressive almost, guys. Any uptick in the market is just slammed right back down. Here's Alibaba, still positive on the day after a nice morning, all the way back to almost 91. But same thing. A nice little bounce just gets absolutely hammered right back to almost day lows again.
I'm going.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say new position alert. Before we talk about Alibaba, I just wanted to get it. I'm going to hit my new thing that I do for new position alerts. If I can find it, there it is right there. That means new position. Okay, Arun?
It's good to know. I won't be here, so it doesn't really matter.
You will be here. You may be here on Monday. We'll find out. But yeah, thanks, Arun. Big week. Feels like we've been trading beside each other now for 3 weeks because we have.
Yeah.
Brendan on vacay, and then Neil, and then now hopefully you will be not called upon. Let's put it that way. Let's hope for that. I hope you're here, but I also hope Neil's here on Monday. So anyways, okay. And we're just going to play, honestly. Enough's enough. Let's see if the futures want to bounce here. I don't know if they're going to. I feel like the risk to reward here is pretty good. We're right on day's low for the futures. If we tank down, we have Facebook already in the money, 40 cents. We're going to give this one just to the day's low, which is AMD 88.26. So we're not going to do that. We're going to give it through 88. So we have a position on right now. It's 88.35. So we're flat. We'll average in at that day low of 25 or so. And then we'll see if we can hit a home run to the upside just in case this market does want to go for a little jog here in the afternoon. You're down that 2.25. I mean, the last 10 minutes, we're going to forget about that today as imbalances are going to come out. They should be pretty big on a Friday with this kind of action. It's the third Friday of the month, or are we on the fourth Friday now? We're probably on the fourth Friday because I think we had index changes. Let me call this up. Let me see what's going on here on my calendar. 1, 2, 3. This is the fourth Friday, right? So last Friday was more important than today. But, still, you're coming into what was a very weak month. And what has been a weak year so far. And I wonder we had Daniel Shea on yesterday. She talked about options and that she's just net short everything. So I wonder if some of those kind of get executed or closed, options are already done trading, some of them for the day, the equity ones, but you're going to see some moves happen here at the end of the day. Let's see if it's a buy side and try to get some love here for AMD. On that note, let's close out Facebook one more time here. If we can get a 10 print, we'll do that. We're well in the money on this Facebook. I can't go long AMD and short Facebook right now. That wouldn't make net any sense, but we will try to hold on to something. Give me those 10s, buddy. Give me those 10s. We're sitting in here somewhere. Not going to tell you what gateway, but hopefully comes through. There it is. You might have just seen some bats go off there, so maybe that's a key. But there we go. Another out for us on Facebook, as maybe this one has a lot more room to go to the downside. So if AMD does wind up breaking, that means that hopefully Facebook has also come back down even more, right? And so that's sort of the logic here. Let's hold on to one and play the other. I actually don't mind this long here. Hopefully the futures can go. Realistically, it needs to take out this period right here, 13,440 for the NASDAQ to go. But right now, we're just teetering on lows right now. So this AMD trade could get cracked. But we're in it. It's in the money a dime. We're going to expect for a lot more. So let's average in if it comes back into the 20s. And hopefully, we don't have to. I might average up on this trade if we take out this 88.60, guys. That's my trade right now for AMD, looking for the long side.
Yeah, with everybody short, the one thing you got to worry about this late in the session is a sustained buy-side move. We were talking about this yesterday, is that at what point do shorts start covering? And I'm not talking about the big-time holders or the large positions that are being liquidated. I'm talking about the intraday guys that decided to pick up some shorts and write it down, right? So at what point do those guys get out? And you know, once the door opens, everyone's going to want to hit that door at the same time or get out at the same time. So that's what you got to watch out for. So for the time being, the market is still at day lows here, south of 90 now, 42.90, 42.89 to be exact. But if there's a buy-side wave coming, you could easily see 43.20, 43.30 in a flash, right? It's just a matter of when does that happen. Usually I'm wary of this in the final 90 minutes. It could happen anytime in the final 90 minutes, and it's just a matter of at what point is the trigger? Is it going to be 4,300 or is it going to be 43.10? I'm thinking, where's the obvious stop level? It would be 43.10, but anytime a buy wave starts happening, you got to worry about shorts getting out of the way. So yes, I've got that one short on Facebook for now, but again, that's a daily read. It's also, Facebook's also quite extended to the downside. So yes, maybe, Droughton, like you asked, at some point, boom, this green arrow shirt will actually tick up. I don't know if you guys can see it. Right here, you guys go. The green arrow shirt will tick up and actually get this market to bounce a little bit here. But for the time being, it does look like market's heading in a strong trend to the downside. And hey, it's almost the weekend, so why not take some time off, regroup, because next week will be an interesting one with all the earnings and the way this market has gone in the last 2 days.
And we're going to fire this off. This is for you, Playmaker. Some hot dog cannons going off as we just took a piece out there on AMD as we went right up to that level again. So a couple longs, long and out, long again, out some there. We'll see if AMD can hold. We do want to average into this position. So let's go to the upside here. AMD, we have a decent position on as we just put some more on at 44 there and then got some out at 53. Remember, our first long was 35 down there. So let's now see what happens with AMD to the upside there. Yeah, I'm still in VLON. So yeah, so this is how I've been playing this one today. And it's actually a profitable name for me. So yeah, we'll go, yeah, we'll do a little belly dance on VLON today. We're only long this name because of the pre-market action that was there. It's a big move up today. We take that breakout. That doesn't work initially, but then it comes back into this consolidation. And this is why I'm still in. We haven't really broken back down below. But then when we started to spike back up again, to VWAP, we got another piece out. Remember, these are all 04 longs, or what am I long? 04, yeah. And then another piece out there at 20, and then another piece out there right there at 17. So let's see. Maybe there's a late day push into VLON. I don't have any offers out, but I think I should. Let's put another one at like 22, 23 there, and then we'll save another piece just in case we rip up, right? And so that's what we're going to do with VLON. Actually, let's just wait and see if we rip up. I'm going to put them all at 250. Let's try to have some fun here. Let's put them all at 250 and see what happens here. VLON right now, but look what just happened there. The NASDAQ started to go, stopped at the 50 period one more time. Let me zoom this in a little bit here for you. Stopped at the 50 period right there on that spike up. Screw this thing. This thing really messed us up, but right there, like we would still be net short everything. I probably wouldn't have even changed my mind on this, but right there, that hits the 50 period. Now we're coming back to the downside, so we got to sort of baby our AMD trade maybe a little bit here. We're still net short, of course, because of Facebook. But yeah, right now, interesting areas here. I'm going to put it, let's not get too gritty at 250. Let's go to 240 here on VLON and see if we can have Christmas come early for all of us that are long. Brendo.
Heads up on Longeveron as well, guys. LGVN just popping up on a bit of a volume spike. Okay, as promised, lots going on in interest rates, lots going on in yields right across the board. We had the US dollar back to highs to end the week as well. Frank Caberna is Director of Product Content and Creative at the Small Exchange over in Chicago. Joins us on a Friday afternoon once again. Great to see you as always, Frank. What a busy week. I mean, pretty impressive moves. We sat here on Monday and talked about the US dollar, as I mentioned earlier, back to highs here to wrap up the week.
Yeah, and if we go actually straight to the platform, we could lead with US dollar. I wanted to lead with interest rate talks, but interest rates, a huge rally this morning, and they gave back a bunch of ground. We'll get to that in a second, Brendan. But this US dollar, big rally overnight and this morning, not giving any ground as we completely blow out highs since the summer of 2020. Now getting back to an area here using the FX product from the small exchange, this US dollar high, the next level is about 160, and that'll be the high in US dollar for over the last 5 years. We'll see if they can get there. We're actually starting to see in the options on this product that newly launched just about a month ago, some premiums starting to come in those 160 and 161 strikes. So it'll be a really interesting next week for sure in this US dollar. I've got some shorts in this market. I just think that this is too big of a run up here. And I've been trading a lot of stuff against it that we will get to here in a second. And actually to start the week, Brendan, you and I jumped on and talked about short dollars, short metals. That came through pretty nice as gold and silver came off considerably, but that US dollar not budging at all, given the downside that we've seen in Australian dollar, in British pound as well from the overnight. It's a lot of different factors pushing US currencies higher, not only US rate strength, but also bad data out of those foreign currencies as well. And US dollar not giving away any ground as we enter the close here on Friday afternoon.
Yeah, we get these comments from Fed Chair Powell yesterday and Janet Yellen today, suggesting that not only one large interest rate hike to come, but multiple larger, including possibly even a 75 basis point hike to come. Maybe even as soon as May. So let's jump into some of these interest rate products. Talk about the yields here because wow, here we go again, back to the upside. But as you said, they have given off a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. They put in another 10 basis points this morning after another 5 to 10 basis points yesterday in the 2-year. And the question now becomes, are we headed for 3%? And you'll see in my next graphic in just a second why that 3% might be particularly intriguing given historical levels. But what's really interesting is you talk about Fed Chair Powell saying, oh yeah, we're going to need some aggressive rate hikes. Yeah, you're right, friend. You are going to need some aggressive rate hikes because the projection given these futures markets, Brendan, are 300 basis points by the end of this year. And they only have 6 meetings left, man. So if they're at right now 25 to 50 basis points, let's just call it 50 basis points, even though they like to play in ranges there, I'll round up for them to get to 300 basis points where the futures markets are projecting in 6 meetings. You do the math there, and yeah, they're going to need some hefty rate hikes. Now, I am also, and this is a little dangerous territory for me, and that's why I'm looking for my short metals plays, my short crude, my short commodities plays to balance out the fact that I'm short dollars and short rates because I don't quite buy it. I think there's a lot of fear in this market, and right now is definitely the most fearful we've been with inflation numbers and Fed chair people coming out talking up these rate hikes. But man, I went back and looked at all of the different hiking environments since the year 2000, Brendan. They haven't hiked more than 25 basis points in a shot in the last 2 decades. Now, I think they are going to change that this year. They probably will hike 50 basis points or even 75 basis points in one of these remaining 6 meetings. But man, it's going to take a lot to get up to these projections, given that we're only at half a percentage point right now. And the market, the futures market, is already efficiently pricing in what Fed Chair Powell is saying. And that's why you get a run up like you saw this morning sold into, because it's the market telling you, man, how much more can we rally? We're already at 3%. We're already at these historical highs. So even if Yellen or Powell or whoever come out with a hawkish statement, it's like, man, we've been hawkish statements for the last few months. We've been rallying this market up so much that it is a little bit tired. Now, if you're not as interested in just outright short rates, even though we're at those historical highs and we're now, more than 100 basis points away from the average interest rate level for the last 10 years or so, Brendan, you can hedge that risk against other interest rate markets. I'm short 2s and I'm long 10s and 30s. So it doesn't have to be necessarily an outright play, because those spread markets have been moving around like crazy. You and I just talked about it a couple of weeks ago, inverted, back to normal, a lot of spread opportunities that can diminish the risk of just being outright short rates. Because trust me, it did not feel good this morning.
Yeah, when it comes to that type of a trade, I want to focus on that type of a trade here a little bit, Frank, because you see a chart like that, that one we just looked at of the 2-year just going parabolic essentially. Obviously the short side is going to be the most interesting to traders here. How do you get yourself into a position like that? Is it something that you want to give yourself a lot of room with, obviously, because let's be honest, we don't really know how high this could possibly go. How are you kind of positioning yourself here, trying to take risk into account at least?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the first thing in terms of risk reduction starts with the product that you're choosing. And that's why, from hopefully if you're getting started in interest rates, you can't get much smaller. You actually, I'll be outright here. You can't get smaller than the small 2-year yield product. It's a $2,000 futures product, which stacks up to the ZT futures, which are $200,000 products. So you start with a smaller product in there, Brendan, and then to further reduce that risk, because no one likes being naked short a market that theoretically can run to wherever. I do like buying that 10-year against it, buying that 30-year against it, with the idea being, if I'm wrong and 2 years run up by another 50 basis points or 100 basis points, that 10-year long in there is, at very least running up by half or 75% of that. Hopefully, I mean, in a traditional market, we're in a very abnormal interest rate market right now. In a traditional market, it actually should be outpacing to the upside. We're just not seeing it right now. So there's a couple of different ways to get smaller in that market, because as someone who has been trading interest rates, that's where I came out of university, trading at Chicago's Board of Trade here in Chicago. I was definitely a little bit stressed out, gripping the chair this morning, being like, man, how high can we get here? But you also can lean against those historical numbers, Brendan. In the last 12 years, since 2010, the high in 2 years was 3%, and then they started to come off in going back to that chart in 2018 or so, and we're there, and we've gotten there so quickly here. But you definitely want to still think about that risk factor. Stay small with your futures positions, and think about spreading off some of that risk for sure. Yeah,
and equity's definitely not pleased at this point. I mean, we're just right now back to lows here for the overall market, 2.5% now for the S&P. Let's shift gears here a little bit, touch on crude oil. We've kind of gotten away from it a little bit over the past week and a half, 2 weeks, as focus has shifted, obviously, to more on the currency side and the interest rate side. A 2% day here for crude oil as we come to 3 o'clock here Eastern. Anyways, back to day lows though for crude. I mean, there's a correlation, or theoretically there's a correlation with the U.S. dollar here. Touch on the energy markets a little bit.
Yeah, and this can kind of go for commodities in general. You and I looked at U.S. dollar versus metals to start the week, and you don't tend to see, Brendan, commodities ripping higher or near all-time highs as U.S. dollar also heading in that same direction. Most commodity markets, be it grains, energies, or wherever, are priced in US dollar. And so you see this correlation here in front of you most of the time in the red. Now you see the correlation of the last couple of months, the breakdown here, because you do have, again, not only an abnormal interest rate market, Brendan, but an abnormal foreign exchange and commodity market where crude oil, yes, off 2% here today. Yes, $15 off of the highs they put in a couple of weeks ago, but we're still above $100 in crude. And you're very rarely going to get the high print in one market and the high print in another market when they're both inversely correlated. But I do like this relationship. Crude oil still above 100, still in the grand scheme of things, pretty overpriced here, stacking up against a US dollar market that is through those highs. And if we go back to the price chart of these two markets relative to each other, you can see in this little window the normal long-term trends of dollar versus crude. Dollar spiking higher, crude that's priced in dollars getting a drag effect there. And then you see in this same window, crude oil picking itself up off of those lows, US dollar coming down to new lows. And so right now, like I say, not the highs in crude necessarily, but elevated crude and US dollar back to its highs. It's a matter of, Brendan, when you've got such an abnormal environment, I can't just be short dollars, short rates, and on essentially the same side of that trade, or long equities to boot. I've got the same trade on three different ways, but I looked to some of these inverse correlations. It worked for us to start the week. We were short gold and silver. That market came off. I still have my dollar shorts that are getting worse by the minute. But now I can maybe look to throw in some short crude oil here so that at least I've got a little yin to my yang going out through the weekend, and I'm not doubling or tripling up in risk. But yeah, man, you got to love those extremes in US dollar and interest rates. I'm definitely jumping in and out of those markets as often as I can.
More to come, more volatility potentially to come on that front as well heading into next week. Just keeping my eye on the S&P here still. To the downside we go. Frank Caberna, Director of Product Content and Creative at the Small Exchange in Chicago. Have a wonderful weekend, sir. We'll talk to you again next week.
Thanks, Brendan.
There we go. I mean, great information as always, guys. Never a dull moment, it would appear, going forward anyways, for interest rates and the dollar index.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, those dollars. I mean, I know Frank was talking about being short there. So, yeah, Rip City into that. So great talk there. Love having Frank on board. You know, giving you just a little bit broader, more macro stuff than we look at here. We look at scalping, individual trades, things like that. Always great to hear some, you know, extended opinions on oil, the 10-year, and just everything that Frank was coming through. Visit the Small Exchange, guys. Again, the big thing about the Small Exchange is the no PDT, as that's been frustrating for a lot of people there trading equities. You don't have the day trading rule there. Okay, but all right now, I mean, honestly, man, I'm kind of at a loss for words here because AMDs are the downside. We've tried to average into this long. We're about to get out of it right now. It was like if we didn't, and again, it's not about blaming anything here. It's just like that wick up that happened in the NASDAQ really started to change my opinion, and obviously I wish it hadn't because we've given some money back, and now we're long on AMD. I thought there was a chance for that to hold 86 or 88. It doesn't look like that's going to happen, so we wait a little bit lower for this one, but about to get stopped out right now on AMD. I mean, how much lower is this thing going to go? NVIDIA's breaking lower now as well. So we still have our Facebook on, which is now 50 cents in the money. Should have been dramatically more shares on, but it's not. So I just digress on all this. The market looks like it wants to go down. It's breaking lows every minute here is a new low in the NASDAQ as we're now down 2.25% right now, and just looking disgusting here to the downside. So not a great week. We did reload our Netflix. Great week. Not a great week for the NASDAQ. Great week for trading. Yeah, we're still going to be green on the day for people asking. So no problems on that one. We're never going to like sit here and give everything back on one trade. I've already told you that. We'll try to lose about 25% of our net losses on one trade there. And that actually happened to me both on AMD and on Facebook. So that's why I'm a little upset, man. We gave back about 40 to 45% of our day on that one move to the upside. So that sucks. But hey, thank you to trader formerly known as Jude Fernando. He talked about just about being humble and that he respects that side of us talking about our winners and our losers. And honestly, that's just what day trading is all about. I don't have a problem doing that. It sucks when you're wrong, and it's fantastic when you're right. And you can't play both sides all the time. You got to sort of, have that feeling of humility when things don't work out, and you do see me celebrate the wins, and at the same time, I think I do a good job of being disgusted when I lose. So that's what we're all about here. We are now short Netflix into that 215 top. You want to take that out, take it out, man. But I'm just thinking that if this NASDAQ continues to fall, maybe we do get a test rate here. Just thought we would break that 50 period to the downside. This is not revenge trading. I mean, we did lose on this. We're not putting a lot of risk into this name. It's just if the NASDAQ wants to continue to fall, maybe we do retest some of those bottoms. So let's trade Netflix on that. We did get a little bit of a bump back up here. I might take some shares out and just start to say, you know what, let's go home with still a decent day here and not worry about it, because the way I trade, man, we're going to be back with a vengeance on Monday. Yeah, I'm excited for the weekend, but here we go. A nice little bounce back here in the market. So good thing we didn't get taken out there, but we almost did on AMD.
Yeah, and as the market is, I'm watching closely the level 2 on the futures here, and I'm watching how it's trading, and it's getting slippery. And what I mean slippery is there's ways the market trades, which is fine, but the way it's cutting through levels and the speed at which we're moving is starting to get to a point where it's moving up the way I would think. It's moving down to way too fast, too quickly. Yeah, I could say that, after being down 100 points on the NASDAQ, or not the NASDAQ, the S&P, it's gotten to a point where it's starting to get slippery quickly, which is usually when bids start moving out of the way, which usually is towards the end of the day, which also means someone want to say capitulation. I don't know. It's starting to get, the level 2 is starting to look real weird. And this isn't right typically for a move, this late into the day. We tend to have a decent amount of volume, at least on one side. And right now, it just seems like we're cutting through levels unnecessarily quick. So I am going to actually walk away from this Facebook trade, because as the futures were doing this, I'm not getting the action I want on Facebook. So Facebook, we're going to take the hit. We're going to walk away. I'm not going to take the hit here. I'm going to try to get it as closest to 84 as possible, maybe take a 20, 30 cent hit or something like that. If I can't get that, it's not worth it, right? So I either I'll let it go north of 85 again to get out, force my hand, or if I can get it close to 84, I'll just take the 20, 30 cent hit, because at 64, it could go either way. It could go up or down, so there's no point in getting out here. That's the only reason I'm not getting out at this price, but I don't want to be on Facebook anymore, because it is showing relative strength to what the market's doing, regardless of whether this market continues or not, and regardless of whether Facebook continues to extend to the downside or not. I really don't care at this point. I just don't like the divergence, what I'm seeing between Facebook and the rest of the market, or the indexes themselves. So cut some risk, walk away. At that point, Facebook's the only trade I've got left, right? So if I cut that one, that's going to be pretty much it for me for today. Going to 3 o'clock, nothing else. Maybe the futures, if we get a bounce, given what I'm seeing, if we get an option to go for the long, I might step into the long, but that'll be very, very late, and we'll see how that one plays out as the market comes back in a little bit more, and I'll get out of this one here and walk away from this. Futures, again, looking towards those 75s as the next potential breakdown to the low side. If we're going to do it, just do it. But I don't want to be a part of this anymore, and just call it a day, call it a weekend for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, we did something very, very similar to that, and that was just getting a little lighter there. AMD did come back up, and again, we went right into flat there. We got a piece out at 88.27. That's our average price was 30, so we took a piece out there at 14, a piece out there at 27. Just thinking that, hey, man, maybe this long here is not going to be right. We're going to get out, obviously, if it breaks some of these lows. We already talked about that. But right now, I mean, the futures just tried one more time there. Didn't go. So, yeah, we're sitting here into some of these shorts. One thing I wanted to show you guys today was Peloton, new all-time lows for Peloton here. Breaking, I mean, I don't know if it's all-time. I mean, where did it IPO at? But, I mean, whatever. You're down to $20 right now on Peloton. That's pretty disgusting. I mean, look at the daily chart here for Peloton. whopping $170 just at the beginning of the year. The beginning of this. No, what am I talking about? That's not the beginning of this year, beginning of last year. The beginning of this year, we've made a move up to that $40. This was the move down from 90, obviously, that we've seen, and now you're down to $20. Yeah, and that's just like bleeding right here. So Peloton, although it's done okay, it's low as 1970, it's trying to break back down below 20 right now. So that's an area where you may want to look at that short, bouncing off that VWAP. I'm trying to hold out to some of these longs right now. I did get something out on for flat there for Netflix just to lighten it up. I got it a third, just thinking that we probably take that 215, especially if the market does rally. So I don't need to be long AMD, short Netflix, short Facebook. So we are lightening up on some of that. We still got a nice win on our Facebook trade here. It's a good one. We're 40 cents in the money right now on that. So that's so far so good. Maybe it's coming back in, and just a slippery slope everywhere right now. Is there any names you guys want us to look at? Oh, VLON. Okay, VLON. This is a nice move. It's now just taking that out right here, 226, 227. It's 3 o'clock. We're into power hour. Maybe this is something to look at right now. VLON. My offer is up at, I thought I put one out. Yeah, 38. So we talked about seeing if we can get this back into 40s. VLON with a nice little spike up there. We're long 04s. I mean, so that's nice. That's helping out my net. And just as we just looked at, oh man, it's frustrating. I need a drink. Yeah, just as this went to 220, 225 there, I call it up and it drops 10 cents. So, okay, my bad. We won't look at you anymore, VLON Pharma. But right now, that's dancing. So maybe I like the fact that it's moving at least. Hopefully that means that there's some exercised energy that needs to come into this name, and we'll get some volume pumped into there. I remember Brendan talking about Longeveron. Good call there as it gets to that 1280 and comes right back in. So again, like, if you're not part of this from the beginning, don't ever try to take out breakouts at this time of day. I mean, that's my advice from what I've looked at here. Why is this not moving anymore? Oh, there it is. Yeah, because we put that up there. See, now there's no volume, and it looks like it wants to go to sleep again. But Longeveron, 1280 there. Let's have a little longer look. Yeah, Cecil, 13. You couldn't have thought it was going to break 13, but that's another level to look at. So if you are excited about Longeveron, maybe there's a trade there. What's up, Ms. V?
Hey guys, just 1 hour left until the end of this trading week, and I hope it will bring you more trading opportunities. Meanwhile, I ask you, please like this video. 3,000 people are watching us right now, only 300 likes. We really need support of each of you guys, and likes are absolutely free, but priceless for us to know you enjoy what we do. Back to you guys.
All right, I was looking at the chat. A nice little comment there from Saul. What's the difference between picking a bottom and a falling knife? Well, when you're right, it's a bottom. When it's a falling knife, it's when you're wrong. It's always the case. It's either a falling knife or getting run over by a freight train. Pick your. Yeah. I like to use the freight train comment.
Watch this.
What happened there? Is that the freight train coming?
Here's Neil, pretend that's you or me.
Oh, boom!
You get run over through the bus there. So yeah, but
no, I was just saying.
I think you're right about that. And the thing is, I'll tell you what the difference is in my opinion, and I mean, I'm trying to do it right now on AMD, and that is that when you have a defined bottom. So like, you know, we believe that the NASDAQ, I mean, look, one thing about like trying to catch Netflix when there's earnings and it breaks 250 and then it's coming down to 230 and you're trying to catch those bottoms, you're trying to catch that falling knife, right? But I think when you're trying to buy bottoms, to me anyways, the difference would be that you already have a bottom in place. So catching a falling knife is like, you know, when this is happening, or what I did on Facebook that one day, when Facebook was sub 200, it was just a couple days ago here. Yeah, it was this day right here, where I was using that. I was like, okay, it's got to stop. It's got to stop. It's got to, you know, like, where's the bottom? And then there was no bottom. That's catching a falling sword or knife right there, in my opinion. And we get run over. Right? To some point, you get out. But like, you know, just to equate what I'm trying to do here on AMD, and not that one is right and one is wrong, but it's like trying to catch a bottom. I'm trying to catch a bottom here with this. So, you know, that's what we're trying to do. But it's turning out to be a knife because when it breaks this, I'm going to be out and then I don't have to worry about it. But I do get it. They're very, very similar concepts there. And I don't like either one of them. Remember what I said? I never want to short like a 52-week high. sell a 52-week high if you're already long, or get out if you're long, if you're short on a 52-week bottom, because they're there for reasons, you know what I mean? So when a stock is just going down, you got to wait for it to base out at some point before eventually stepping in. Otherwise, you don't have that out. But if you have an out, then you've been watching the show for a while, and I say congratulations to you, because you always need an out. So, all right, with that being said, Facebook's starting to go back up. My out for Facebook is going to be this top break right here, 185. I'm going to give it to 185 again. So if that breaks 185, we'll be out of Facebook. And then Netflix, we have that 215 area that we're almost out right now. There we are. We'll reverse into the long on purpose now for Netflix. Let's see if they want to take that out. And man, if this doesn't go, then yeah, I am going to need that drink sooner rather than later. But I hope all of you guys have had a great week. So have I. I mean, it's been a super fun week here with Arun. That's 2 weeks in a row now. And it's been a good one. And I hope you've learned a lot. We're excited. And let's take this into the close. It's now power hour. Let's see if this market wants to power into the longs.
Yeah, at this point, 3 o'clock, we've got an hour left. I don't have any more positions, nor do I think I'm going to be taking any more positions. So I'm now thinking about the weekend, thinking about vacation. For me, anyways, I'm gone next week.
You said it was summer.
Yeah, it is in the summer, but I'm thinking about it still.
Okay,
Somebody was asking, Bradley was asking about it. So I'm taking off in about a month or so. I'm taking off to Mexico for a week, Cancun. You know, why not?
Month?
No, in a month I'm leaving for a week.
Okay.
But
you're doing the
Mexico.
big trip.
But then I'm doing the big trip in August. I'm gone for a while in August, August into September. So I'm going to do a 3-country trip across Europe here. We're thinking, we've actually booked it actually. Portugal, flying to Portugal. That's the only thing I've booked actually. Fly in and out of Portugal. Which we've been to before, and then thinking southern France, and then Italy, Sean. Italy, we're going to roll through Italy and eat up all the pizza and pasta, and my wife's going to be on the wine there, but it's going to be a good trip, and I'm spending a decent amount of time. Get away from the summer. You got to enjoy your breaks when you can get them.
Watch out, man. It's going to be super hot. I mean, depending on if you're in the north or south.
That's why I'm going to Italy in September.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because I'm timing it in such a way, because we learned that lesson by ending up in Spain in August.
Yeah, you were saying
it's like,
that was a fun.
No, you don't want to be in Spain in August. But Portugal's beautiful. We'll go back there. And if in any of these locations we have offices, guys, contact your TFDs. If you're watching the show, contact your TFDs and have them send me your office locations, because I will swing by if they're in Lisbon, if they're somewhere in the south of France, or in Italy from Naples going on down. So I'll fly through there, and I'll visit these offices. If you guys have, just contact your TFDs and let them reach out to me with your info.
Ooh la la, what's up, Brendo?
Just seeing a note on Disney, guys. Once again, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but Governor DeSantis officially signing that bill into law, stripping Disney of their self-governing status. Again, this goes back to some tax implications for Disney. So that just happening. Governor DeSantis signing that bill into law. So Disney as well, back 2-day lows.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's a nothing thing there, because we already knew that Disney was going to be in trouble there. They talked about that the other day. So signing into law, self-governing, I didn't even realize they had that. That's pretty awesome for them, and I guess taken away now. Okay, just so you know, we got out of half of the VLON that we had left, so one piece out there at 24. I don't know if it's going to go or not, but we will wait a little higher for that one other piece there on VLON, trying to get that out. We can look at Disney real quick here. Let's have a quick look to see what's going on with Disney. What? Oh, man, I didn't even realize we were broke even below this 120 level today. Oh, man, Disney, wow, 118. Like, this is now below some of the levels. I think we're talking about 125 to 120 were like the 5-year bottoms. Like right now, you're more than 5 years away. I mean, these are, I don't mean the bottom like it's been that low, but we were here 5, 6, 7 years ago on these names. Okay, what was that? Did something just come out right there? Because now the market is Pop City, and there we go. Finally, AMD to the upside, starting to break out. This is like what I've been waiting for, guys. So apologize if I'm getting excited. Just like how we got stopped out on the upside of this exact move, we now need to take some profits as AMD. I just put offer enter at 34, and then it went down. So, oh man, come on, baby. Let's get back upside here a little bit if we can. No, don't stop. No, the futures again don't want to go, Arun. This is the most frustrating day of the week, despite it being a pretty obvious downtrend here. It's just so frustrating. Like, why? It takes it out. It could have continued to go to the upside. Why, market? Why? But let's just go back and just say we just got the fill. So hopefully we can continue now to the upside. Today could be a good day. Well, it's already a good day there, as we're in a different kind of plaid today, not the ice cube. Okay, here we go. Now let's go, man. Now we're getting on one here. We have an offer at 48, so hopefully that'll get filled. That's been sitting there for a while. Come on, AMD, you can do it. You can do it. Let's push to the high side now for this market. We're getting excited again, so hopefully it can just continue, man. Let's continue this push into the close here. Hopefully that'll happen. We're long on AMD. We're long on Netflix. We need this to start to work for us, so let's go back. I mean, we don't need it, but we're in positions, so let's get this going to the upside right now. Hopefully this rally can continue. I'm not super positive on that, but hopefully we can get it going. Come on, I'm at 48 AMD. Really? 46s, 47s, 47s. Oh, we got 48, so we can go over to Ms. V. What's up?
Hey guys, we've got a super chat. Thank you so much, Dominic Famularo, asking Arun to take a look at UVXY. VIX Futures ETF is up 20% on the day.
Yes, the volatility index. As you can see in this market, when things start getting rough, the volatility index starts going up. So it's an inverse relationship. So it just shows high points of volatility and low points. Anytime the VIX starts going up, it's usually because the market's falling off a cliff of some sort. And here we go. See, before I continue with the VIX, this is exactly what I was worried about on the futures. Remember we were talking about the futures, it was like somewhere south of 80, and it was like, man, something's not right. It doesn't feel right because the way that it's moving down there is just off with the way the bids are moving around. This is exactly why I dumped Facebook, because I'll take my 20-cent hit on Facebook to avoid this mess, because now it's bounced $1.30 from where I got out. Exactly this. Volatility, which I'll jump into with UVXY, was going to be, you know, on the intraday basis, you look at it, but then if you really dig deep into it, there's certain pockets where it starts to act funny. And somebody else was in the chat also recognized that the same thing was going on around these 80s. There was something off about the way that the flow was coming in through that level. So here we go, pop in the market all the way up to 95, which is a good thing if you want to pick up some shorts. The reason being, this gets a lot of shorts out of the way. A lot of shorts are covering on their way out. This moves the market to the upside. If you're going to get a sell into the close, then you're probably going to have to get this done first, and then we can come back with the sell side move later on. Before now, this is a good thing. If you're short, this is a good thing to see if you want to get short later on as well. Brendan.
All right, so Fed member Mester making some comments right now, guys, on a 75 basis point hike, saying we don't need to go there yet, at least. On a 50 basis point potential rise in May, saying that he would support that. So not necessarily ready for a 75 basis point hike, which it seems like the market liked, but 50 basis points definitely needed at this point.
All it takes is something. All it takes is something to get this market, get some shorts to cover, and that's all it takes. Just a comment there. Going back to the VIX, though, the VIX index, guys, all these high points of volatility, anytime you see a run to the upside, it's because we fell off. If you coincide these days, this was like November, late November, and then you're going to see a couple days here. Yesterday, obviously, we started the VIX down at 1130. Now VIX up 3, 4, 5, yeah, about 4, just a shade underneath. $4 to the ups, or 4 points to the upside. And the way you can trade VIX, just keep in mind there's a lot of deterioration in this chart because of it's an ETF, the way it trades. So just use it as a reference point for trading something else. That's all it's really good for. I personally find. I don't think I would personally invest in the VIX as a whole. There's other instruments that you in the VIX ETFs. I know there's VIX futures as well. If you can actually access that, but there's VIX futures as well. So there's different instruments that you can get through to trading the VIX, but as a whole, we use this as a reference point, as in how high can it really go before it starts to kind of drop off? Where should there generally be where it's gone too high too fast, or the VIX the volatility index has gone too high too fast. So we're just looking at this as a reference point as the VIX is up 13% because the market is down 2% to the downside 2 days, and VIX jumps up 4 points, and there you go, as this market is now looking at 4,300 to the upside. I bet you if I were to take the VIX now, VIX fell because the market shot up. Volatility tends to inverse relationship. There goes VIX to the downside from 1530 down to 1480, 50 cent drop on the VIX because the market takes off to the upside. This is a good thing. If I wanted to go short, I want to see this because this allows shorts to get out of the way and then maybe open up the shorts for later on in the day.
Yeah, we still have, still have a long time, and I'm going to be like, hell yeah, right now, because we'll fire off some cannons, because thank you to the Fed right there, because, yeah, that was a big win for me now on AMD as we hold that long, and we just wind up taking, some out here 70s, some out 60s, just let it flow right upside. We'll see if we could take out some of these levels, but we are not, just like Arun said, man, we're not just going to sit here and let this market just go up and not take some out. We do realize that the NASDAQ is still somewhat sick here, but again, shock of 75-point rate not needed. That's not like, that's old news. Like, Bullard came out and basically said the same type of thing. He talked about a possibility of 75 points, but there's no way that that's going to get voted on and passed. I don't think so anyways, but that's just me talking. It's nice to be back here, man. The market is in rally mode, and so is your boy. We were going short for a very, very long time, obviously, and we just switched. I mean, these are all shorts. We had AMD long initially, which was pretty good, before breaking and getting out, then started to build the shorts, and then right down there supported that bottom. What's up to trader formerly known as Jude Fernando? Yeah, that move on NVIDIA was pretty sweet as well, man. The same type of thing. We should have probably stayed on NVIDIA instead of AMD and just take same amount of risk and got rewarded with $2, but whatever. As the semis go upside, we know what NVIDIA's potential is, as well as AMD, so let's continue to hold those. Netflix, though, we reversed into a long. I told you we were going to do that on purpose. This looks sucky because they're all shorts and they're all busted out. 100% not great trades there on NVIDIA, on Netflix, but we just took out almost took out 217. We're long 215, so now we're back in the money, $2 on this trade, trying to get this to go. I mean, we're not doing anything to get it to go. We're trying to watch this thing here, Netflix. Will it get a little higher for us? Hopefully it will. I'm looking at 220. Like, if we can get into 220 here, I think that's something that, why not? Why can't we get back there on an aggressive move here into the close? But again, having a room beside me, definitely a good thing. I don't want to, we always talk about trade your own book, so I don't necessarily getting out of my trades because I think this NASDAQ move is opening up positions for the short. I'm long, I'm trading technicals, I'm scalping, a completely different game totally than what Arun is looking for. Although we both use technicals, longer time frames, more risk associated with the futures than there is with equity. But again, for example, Arun will take less, and he's said this, that's why I can say it, right? Less risk, obviously, on equities. So wait for the futures. I've seen Arun, Arun's been sitting here some days with basically no trades on the futures at all because they don't set up. Like today, right? So just today's one of those days again where he's looking for completely different things. So, and on that note, let's get out of some more shares here if we can on AMD as it is falling back down. So there it is, right? Falls back down 10 cents. And I'm like, you know what? Let's take some more out. So I'm scalping. Arun's trying to hold out there. Do I ever trade, what's up, Christian? Good question here. Do you ever trade supply and demand? I did go to school for economics. I don't know.
That's how stock works.
I don't know what he means by that, though. Like, do you mean by level twos, like supply and demand?
Probably.
Yeah, so yes, I do. I mean, we do look at size on here. It's just right now on a lot of these names, man, Christian, there's not that much size on any of these level twos. You'll see me when I see something, I'll yell it out. I'll be like, oh my God, there's a big bid on Apple or whatever there is. So yeah, stay tuned for that. So we do use that often. But again, in this market, with the amount of funds that are out there and how there's so much leverage back and forth, realistically, even a bid of 1 million shares on AMD, it can get chewed up. So we will use that. We'll use our market structure and what we have here to take advantage of some of those moves. But ultimately, that supply and demand game was basically over. I mean, everyone's too young here to probably know about SOs. but that's you know, something that used to exist there, where it was basically just one route, one gateway in. So's market systems. So if you know about that, then you're an old head like me. But right now, with the way the gateways work and all the dark pools that have been coming through, yeah, supply and demand not really there. I hope that helps answer your question a little bit there.
Brendan.
Just looking at more comments coming back in here. This bounce, it would appear, stalling out a little bit. She's also saying, guys, that a recovery back to 2% is going to take at least a couple of years. So a noteworthy explanation there as well. I mean, when you think about it, obviously, to get from 7.8% back to 2% is going to take a couple of years. But she is still actually speaking on CNBC right now.
All right. Piggybacking on what Sean was saying about gateways, I just put up Siri just so you guys can see access to all the gateways that we could potentially have. So Siri has a ton because of the way it moves. It has a ton on either side, right? At 628 by 629, you can see all the gateways that are just stacked with volume. Oops. And that's only the lit gateways. If I were to go down to, say, Siri, because it's the NASDAQ name, if this is our keyboard setup, the way we set up a keyboard. So when we go to do it, and all the floors, or any floors that are watching from Day Trade the World, you guys can do this easily, and you guys know about this already. If we were to now set up for NASDAQ, and I were to just hit this drop down, I have access to all of these key different gateways to go through. From ARCA up top, down to UBS at the bottom, and we have routing keys through there. We have dark pools, Nighthawk, we have Goldman Sachs
dark pool.
The Goldman Sachs dark pool. What do they call Sigma X, and all of these dark pools that we can go through if you want to set them up. So there's many different options, and it's just a matter of which broker offers you the different options. Obviously, with Day Trade the World, we have different ones being programmed into the system all the time. Well, actually, I guess I wouldn't say all the time. It's been a while since we had a new while.
It's been a while, yeah.
We have, I guess, well, the one thing we do create is smart order routers. To route through different combination of gateways, which is a very useful thing to have if you want your shares now. But I'm cheap. I know Sean likes to get his fees in as well, or to reduce his fees as well. So we go through the ones where they kind of give you a rebate to get the shares there. So I go through ARCA quite a bit, just because ARCA tends to give the rebate a little bit more than the other names. So I kind of lean on ARCA a little bit. But that's just for us to control our fees. But that's not a thing that you need to worry about until you get to a point where fee structure matters to you. Because at the beginning, it's just all about trades, right? Worry about the structure and the setups. And this kind of leads into what the question was about, was do you rely on support, demand, demand? It's going to be support resistance, I imagine. From reading the chart, the chat, I guess you guys are talking about support resistance levels. And that's what charting is, though, right? It's all about identifying pockets of resistance and support and where you can potentially make a trade. A great example would be this area here. I identified some area up here that I wanted to work with on the short side for the futures, so I was waiting for the market to come up here, right? It's just a matter of identifying this area, know that there's gonna be sellers waiting here, so you wanna try to grab a trade somewhere in here, and then once you get that trade, you can go for the trade, go for the short, right? In this case, it didn't work out, or I didn't get a chance to take it, but that was the same thing yesterday, same thing today, and that's what charting is all about. At the end of the day, if you're looking at charts, you're trying to identify support resistance or supply demand or whatever term you want to use, but it's all about where are the buyers, where are the sellers, where can I potentially make a trade, and that's what charting is there to help you identify. And the game here is all about what charting timeframes, combinations, indicators are you going to use to help figure that out? That's what it's all about, right? That's what trading, essentially the harder part of it is. Apart from the psychological and emotional part of it, the technical aspect of it is learning that process. And then you got to deal with all of the other things like yourself, psychological, emotional, all that stuff that affects you as well. But charting itself is inherently all about supply and demand.
I want to give a shout out here. I mean, I just looking at and I realize I have to address some of my DMs. I didn't look at any yesterday there on Twitter, but I don't see one. Bears versus Bulls Media. You messaged me, so I don't know. I'll check it. I don't see it here, but let me know what your Twitter handle is, maybe, and we'll do that. But yeah, well said, Arun. There, I see someone saying that on there. But yeah, okay. So let's just go ahead here now and try to support some of these plays. Still $1 in the money on Netflix as it's trying to go higher. And again, target area of about 220. I'm actually okay. Here we go. Thought it was going to go up there. Trying to break through VWAP right now is Netflix. We are long from right there. A couple shorts didn't work. It's fine. You know, we're still going to be down on this stock, but if we get it to 220, that would be a different story. So maybe that'll get up there, and it's just going to be watching what the futures do. I don't know if there is a imbalance yet or anything like that. If anybody has one, let us know right now. But yeah, that's what's going on right now for me. We do have this in the money as well, but we're trying to hold out for an upsides move. Might not happen here, but the NASDAQ is now holding the 50-period moving average. It just bounced off of it there. So, hey, we did scalp out a little piece there on AMD, as you could see, at that 50-period moving average. So we're just trying to watch. You see they're trading like one and the same here, the NASDAQ and AMD. So if we give up the ghost there, then we're going to give up the ghost everywhere, and we will give back some of what we've made today already. So no, Kling Data, I have not read So's Bandit book, but I do know what you're talking about. Just have not read that right into yet. So we'll watch out. I think you might be right there, Jay. Jay just mentioned the bulls just got trapped. You could be right on that one. Trapping that move upside, basically giving guys like me an idea that, hey, maybe that run is coming, but you were still down that 2.1%. Could have trapped people going long and now have to panic into the close to get out of some of their positions because they are wrong. VLON, we got out already, had a good move here, so we're still holding half. No worries, I don't have any stop orders out. I'm looking for that high side trade right now. This is just very dangerous. I know Arun's not in anything, and you know, I'm trying to get into something, but I just don't see anything. Like AMD, I don't really want to trade that. We already talked about where Peloton was. Is there any other names out there that, you know, might look good? I was looking for Microsoft breaking through 277. Like I said, that's not happening right this second yet. But again, maybe a breakout of these levels. And why I'm choosing these levels, remember that spike that really got me pissed off? That was, or upset? That was 277.10 or so. So if we take out some of those highs, that's really what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the same thing on Facebook. I'm looking for the same thing on AMD. So yeah, right now it's just kind of like, let's look to see what we can trade. Alibaba's come back in a little bit. Twitter's back to $49, so maybe there can be a trade there. Or we can do Q&A. I mean, we can always do Q&A as well. If you guys have any questions, fire them off here. If you have anything for Arun, I'm sure you don't mind.
Yeah.
If you have anything, because Arun may not be here on Monday, so double check with that. If you guys have any Q&As you want to ask, we are here for you. So Twitter, 49 just bounced off. That's 48.70, 48.50 maybe as a bottom. But again, like, we're not near anything. A lot of these levels just look like what they are. CYN, okay, Dominic, we'll look at that right now. Thanks for getting my attention with that. CYN is a beast right now, according to Dominic. So yeah, I mean, it's above the 50 period, and I know that doesn't mean a lot for these kind of stocks, but it has kind of respected it all the way today, other than some drops, and that's fine if that does happen. But CYN right now, 256. To me, I feel like that's middle of the range, but no, it's not actually. What am I talking about? I must be thinking about something else. CYN, yeah, breaking out over the last couple of days. Now starting to go, and then look on the daily though, if you're looking at this name, coming right in right now at the daily into this level right there, which was the spike high of Jan 27th there of 270. So, that's CYN, Dominic. I think it might be a short into that, to be honest with you. But where's the volume coming? Are we coming buy side volume or what? Yeah, all buy side. You can't see that. Let me zoom this up a little bit here for you. All buy side candles right there coming through on CYN. So yeah, maybe there is some love here for this name. As right now we're taking off here. AMD has just took off. We're now 50 cents in the money. It's right back to these highs. Do I have an offer? Yes, I do. 85. We'll see if that gets taken out. But right now AMD back up to the upside. See, all you got to do is look at other names, and then all of a sudden my stocks will start to go up. We got to take advantage of that. That's a bump up there. As a scalper, we have to. Boom, right there. Let's go. It's fruit salad time as we're trying to eat healthier around here. We've got our water, we've got our vitamins, we've got our fruit salad. No more carbs, guys. Let's go long here on this one. But AMD up to $89. We're pretty happy. And let's go Netflix. Netflix also $2 in the money as that's starting to go as well. Maybe we have seen that bottom today in the NASDAQ. Let's just keep on going to the upside here. Let's go.
All right, no more carbs. I just laughed at that because I just went to Italy. Italy, the restaurant, or Italy, the marketplace.
Arun, you and I have different weight profiles.
Yeah, I just went there earlier to pick up some stuff for dinner. I'm like, oh, okay, no carbs, but I'm hitting the carbs today. Tomorrow, I'm going to be on the cardio. Somebody was asking, what's my session? What's my gym session like? Today is the weekend, so I'm trying to get a little bit lean, you know, for that wedding in Mexico in a month or so. So trying to lean up a little bit, you know, put on some mass. It's time to cut up a little bit and see if we can get down there. And we'll come back to that after we go to Brendan.
Bed Bath & Beyond just halted, guys. Huge spike here for BBBY, up 10%. Just checking on this, but obviously a short float percent in this, but yeah, BBBY.
Yeah, there's a note. I mean, I could steal it from you, or we could just go back to you once you get it. Let's wait for Brendan. There is more rumors here about a buyout. So you could watch out for Bed Bath & Beyond here. It's from Casper, so a former suitor. I'll leave the story to Brendan. It's on the Wall Street Journal. So he'll work through it as I'm too excited about everything else right now. I did see you there, Bears versus Bulls. I just responded to you on Twitter. I'm not going to respond to any more Twitter DMs. I just wanted to do that because I was talking about it, that I wanted to make sure we found each other, but I do see that you're under a different alias, so thank you for talking about that. Yeah, okay. Nice move upside. I mean, I want to hold this now into the close. The NASDAQ is finally breaking out. This is something that, yeah, Brendan, okay, let's go to Brendan.
Yeah, I can just make it official here. It's just what you said. Wall Street Journal reporting, guys, that there it is, includes Cerberus and the former Casper Sleep CEO. I believe they went public and then that didn't work very well or anything like that. But anyways, yeah, halted currently. Multiple buyers interested here for BBBY, guys.
All right.
Well, that was talk about excitement going into the end of the day. The market covering aspect of it, we talked about this, the dangers of being short. And I mentioned to you guys in the final 90 minutes or so, this is my concern, right? When we don't get a cover of some sort, we got to pop off the Fed comments, and then a secondary move here as shorts are moving out of the way here going into the weekend. Nobody wants to hold anything. Remember, you gotta pay to hold on to your shorts, and it looks like intraday shorts are moving out of the way. So that's kind of expected. Saving ourselves some money here because, like I said, we dumped Facebook. Oh, you guys don't even see it here, but we dumped Facebook because of the fact that it wasn't going down. So BBBY halted right now at 1798, projected open at 1799, assuming that's a volatility halt. I don't even know if that's a volatility halt or if that's a news pending halt. Now, Brendan brought us a news, so I'm going to assume volatility halt. It's a volatility halt.
Yeah.
So imagine that. This is going to be a halt a few minutes before it opens back up and the imbalances come out. And this is going to be an interesting one, especially at these imbalances.
It's their bye-bye baby department looking for the buyout. And that's exactly, remember when Bed Bath & Beyond reported, I was like, I'm expecting them to say something about that bye-bye baby. And apparently that is what's drawing interest right now. So yeah, I feel pretty good about that call there. All right, good out for us on VLON. Oops, that's not VLON. This is VLON. Good out for us on VLON there at 225. So far, so good. Ooh, I just got the update there from Prad. Early mock imbalance, 924 sell side. Okay, it doesn't seem like it's going to be a sell-side imbalance with the NASDAQ ripping up, but yeah, maybe something to consider there. We just took another out on AMD, so yeah, man, I mean, right now, let's go Mamma Mia for Arun's carb load and for his trip there to Italy. Forget about Portugal, Arun. Go there, enjoy the water, enjoy the seafood, but Italy is, you've already been to there, so don't worry about that, but there it is. What's up there? SWVL, okay. Normally, I won't address all those crazy crazy money bags there, Christine, but or Chris Dean, not Christine, SWVL. Let's see what that's doing on the NASDAQ here. And that's why I don't address it, because there's absolutely nothing going on. Thank you so much again, trader formerly known as Jude Fernando there. And I think that this is so important. And again, I just give respect to you guys as viewers for us, man. I mean, this is honestly what I'm trying to do. He says here, day trading lessons from my desk. You're not married to the stock. You're short AMD in the morning, all day, every day, and now it's long with a big winner into the close. Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm just not trying to be like super biased one way or the other. We're just trying to trade price action, trying to look at what's happening here. I hope it's going to be a $3 winner, but right now we are only long 88. If you have NVIDIA, you're in the money $3, but right now for AMD, it has pulled back a little bit. But just so you guys know, I have like 30% or so of my initial position here on AMD from that bottom. So although it's a beautiful run back to the upside, and look, all of these reds are me getting out of longs, right? All of these purples followed by greens is me switching it to the short. So now we're long and we're loving life right now on the long side here of this market. So let's just see what happens. We do have an early mock. I don't know if you missed that. I know Aruna just stepped away for a second. Almost $1 billion to the sell side now. So
I say BBY is open actually.
Pardon me?
Bed Bath & Beyond is open.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Notice. Yeah, go to.
It opened at $17.99 right off the open. 95,000 shares to, I guess, printed at $17.99. As you can see, it kind of just is now working both sides here. We've got, you guys can't see that, but I'll zoom in a little bit. And you've got an open right here, a spike all the way up to 1840, and now we're moving to the downside. Could this, no, it can't halt. It needs to move another dollar and change before it halts again to the downside, but I guess it opened fast enough, so we're not going to have to deal with this going into the imbalance, but keep an eye out for imbalances because it could easily just still fall apart. Well, not fall apart. It could easily bring some volume on these imbalances because of news that was somewhat material, I would argue, and that could change the way people see this stock going into the weekend. Maybe they want to participate on the buy side or to the sell side, whichever side these imbalances are going to come out. That kind of leads me right into what I should be talking about, imbalances, or our imbalance locator on the People8 software from Daytrade the World, built in-house, only available through Daytrade the World, not for sale, you can't download it, you can't get any of that. If you're an affiliated office, the software is provided and it's kind of built into it. So the way this works is the imbalance locator, and I'm going to do this every time because I notice that we have new viewers every time, is that it allows you to see how much interest is in a stock towards the official closing price at the end of the day. So everyone who wants to participate sends an order with a special tag called an on-close order tag. And if you want to be executed at the final price, that's what you do. And then all those orders are grouped together and put out here at 3:50 Eastern Time. New York, NASDAQ, and I believe Toronto, now TSX now as well, all send or start updating their data. This data is from this morning. I got to actually filter out ARCA's, let me filter out ARCA. There we go. So New York and NASDAQ, all from this morning. You'll notice at 9:30, 9:29, that's all from this morning's prints, right? So at 3:50, we get an update here from New York, NASDAQ, telling us, hey, this stock needs to be, buy this much shares right here. So you have the stock, you have the direction, you have the size, and you have paired value, PV, which tells you how many shares have already been, essentially, they have found another opposing side. So if you want to buy 100,000, but the paired value is 50, that means at some point there was 150, but 50 has already been taken by a seller. So there's 100 left to buy. And the reason why we care about these is because if it's large enough, it can move the stock because the programs need to move it in such a way where, one, everyone sees this like, oh, someone needs to buy this many shares. Let me move it, let me buy in front of that. So everyone's trying to front run each other, and then the stock tends to go in that direction because this information is already readily available for everyone. So the reason it matters is because of how much influence it can have on a stock. But the thing is, though, it has to be large enough. It has to be large enough to matter. So all these like pre-market mocks or these early mock reads that people are putting out here from Thinkorswim or the other service as well, from Financial Juice on Twitter, that's based on what they project to be, if you're on the floor, you probably have access to more information. So at 350, you get that information for everybody. 355, the floor provides their update. and then we go from there regarding what we want to do on what we want to do. Let me just send this out. What we want to do going into the close. So after the floor gives its update, then we can say, you know what? Okay, this is gonna. A lot of the times they tend to get smaller. So let's just say AT&T was 1 billion or 1 million shares to buy, and all of a sudden at 355 it flips to say 200 million shares to, or 2 million shares to sell. That's because the floor has taken more interest than there was in the imbalance. So that's why we care about it. 350, 355, and then you go into 4 o'clock, and that's what we look at.
Yeah, great analysis there. That's what's up, Sam Lewis. Thank you for becoming a member for sure. Yeah, we will look at BBBY. And look, I mean, thanks to Liz for this, man. She just put this together. This is that comment, Jude Fernando. I just tweeted it out. So big shout out to you here as well. And what a great graphic, man. This Liz is amazing. But thank you so much for that. We'll tweet that out. And it's our community that keeps us honest and accountable for sure. At least me, man. And that's why we built this show. So thank you for your, your nice comments there. And you've actually had other great comments that maybe better than that, but I gave that one to our department, and thank you to Liz for making that one happen. It does mean a lot to me that we get support from you guys and that you understand the kind of pressure that's all this. Yeah, thanks again, Jude, right now again for this, because we're breaking out again here on Netflix. This has been a good hold for me. Now we're $2 in the money, but again, we've lost $2 each time on this trade. So, well, this trade was less than $2, but this one was a short at 211 and an average in, and then we got out at 214. So this was like more like $3 sort of for a hit here. So this needs to go at least to 218 before we can start celebrating a little bit, which it's right there right now into the close. Let's see if we get up there. I put my price, just so you guys all know, at 221.50. So if it gets up to 221.50, I will be out of that one. We got out some more right now on the way back down as we broke through 89 on AMD. And again, with that big imbalance coming, like we're only now, Arun just covered it, man, 6 minutes away. So we don't want to be like, honestly, if this comes to the sell side, then like Netflix will get, I mean, I'm not so worried about Netflix. It's more the AMD trade that's going to be a huge problem for me if that imbalance comes the other way, right? So that's the one thing that is a bothersome to me. What are you guys doing this weekend? Hopefully it's going to be a good one for you. I mean, like I said, we're going to try to go to a movie one day, and I hope you guys are able to enjoy the nice weather wherever you are. Apparently we're going to be getting some decent weather here right now. There's that BBBY coming through one more time here. Nice weather just means I got to probably like do some yard work and things like that. You're in a condo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so yard.
I don't have to do much.
I'm kind of jealous about that. We were thinking about, I mean, we've got the 2 kids, so trying to get some space, but I definitely wouldn't, well, eventually, when I met my wife, I was in a condo, but then, life happened, and now we're not. So we'll probably be back into a condo at some point, but I do miss that low maintenance life, that is for sure. But, okay, 1840 there on Bed Bath & Beyond, I mean, I don't know. Why couldn't we squeeze through that? There it goes. Didn't get a chance to punch that, but we're only at 1850. We could try that Bed Bath & Beyond, but I don't want to give back, some of the hard work that we've done already here today just to chase a meme stock. So we'll probably wait. Let's just see what these imbalances bring. Have you noticed any good questions for you? I don't know. I said that we could do Q&A, but I really haven't noticed.
Yeah, we can do Q&A, but for the most part, I think a lot of people are just kind of just taking a break this late into the day. Yeah. It's been a crazy move. Markets are, coming back in a little bit now as we break back underneath 4,300. Listen, this end of the day stuff is going to be crazy because a lot of shorts got moved out of the way now with this move to the upside north of 43.10 or into 43.10. Now we're starting to make a move back to the downside. Is going to open a lot of doors on how this market's going to close going into a weekend. I think that's going to be very exciting to see if this market's going to actually do a nice run to the upside. Remember, we're not too far away from lows. Lows are what? 75. So 20 points away from the lows. That's what we're looking at right now. So see if we can actually get a move to the downside. Look, maybe we can, maybe we can't. I don't know. There's a lot that needs to be done here going into the end of the day for us to actually start making moves towards the downside. I just need to actually just send a chat over. There we go. All right, so as the markets are just kind of flirting with these 96s, it all depends on how this market wants to go. But again, imbalances come out in about 5 minutes. Early look says it's going to be negative. Okay, we'll see if it's negative. Let's see if it actually ends up being a buy. Man, imagine if this is a buy with the amount of shorts that are on the table. If this comes out a buy, this is going to be a huge rally to the upside. We've had the rally already. Now let's see how this market wants to close out the end of the day as the market now falls towards the low 90s. We're still working to the sell side action here, and we'll see how this one goes as we get closer and closer to these imbalances coming out. Oh no, Sean, what's that all about?
Yeah, no, I think it's fine. I mean, I haven't made any mistakes or anything. I just upset because, like I said, about 5 minutes ago, that these imbalances were $1 billion to the sell side here, and honestly, it's like, I just should have got out of everything. Like AMD was literally $1 higher 10 minutes ago, and now it's like I'm just sitting here. Everything's fine. It's not getting carried away. But what's going up right now must come down. Maybe VLON with a nice move. Let's just get out of VLON right now. I mean, what's the difference really? I mean, there is a difference, but let's just get this out if we can there. There we go, out of VLON right there, 29s. Nice trade for me on that one. Let's fire off the cannon one more time here for VLON with a nice little move to the downside there. Only 3 minutes now until the futures, so we're going to get ready to rock and roll on that one. Hello. Hello. I just saw this nice little super chat there. Drinks are on me. Hey, thank you, Taylor. I need that. So I'll take all of that. No, we'll split that up. Thank you so much, Taylor. I've studied hard, but watching you guys live has changed my life. Bang right there. Thank you so much, Taylor, for that one. We'll throw over to Valeria in a second, and she'll give the big thank you for that one. That's a couple of those Starbucks mochaccino hazelnut with extra pumps of sugar in there for Ms. V. So thank you so much. There goes VLON again, man. We got out at 29, but it is starting to go upside right now. Yeah, I'm also, by the way, thanks, Dominic. I see your $5 there. Please take another look at CYN. Honestly, not right now, Dominic. We only have 2 minutes until these imbalances come out. Too much risk on the line for me to do that. Yeah, I'm also teaching. I have curling I'm coaching on Sunday, and T-ball. My daughter's involved with that. So we're teaching and coaching up that this weekend. No, actually that starts on the 27th. But here we go. Into the imbalances. I mean, the market's coming down, and I will address so many questions. I saw one from Mike Murphy there. I said my stop was 88, but no, it is 88. It's just, I'm not giving the exact prices. All my stops are going to be a little bit lower. And I mentioned this to Fahad because he was kind of like, why did I get so peed off about my Microsoft trade? And it's because my stop was exactly at 281. And like, honestly, 21 years of experience, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I had an upside shares position there, and I didn't want it to get out of the way, like too much problems on that. But I should have put it like at 288. I think it was 281, like 281.25 or something like that. Because honestly, the difference between 25 cents and then missing the trade is ginormous, right? So that's my bad on that one, but that's why. So it is close to 88. Let me just put it that way. But let's go over to Valeria quickly.
Hey guys, thank you so much for all of your support. Welcome all the new members, and of course, thank you for your generosity, Taylor Conway, and so glad to hear you learn with us and from us. And of course, Dominic Familara, thank you for your daily support, super chats, and for participating in the chat and being a regular. Thank you guys, we love you all, and the only thing I can ask for is please smash the like button. We still need around 200 more likes to get to 1K, so please support, and back to you guys.
Okay, with T-minus few seconds left here into this, let's clear this out. Let's watch to see what happens here. We have the NASDAQ up as well. We have the imbalance locator ready to rock and roll with only 10 seconds left. Let's see where these futures go right now. Is it going to be upside? Is it going to be downside? We already have our stops. It just sucks that it's a big sell imbalance. There it is, coming out right now. And I'm not sure. The NASDAQ kind of wants to move down a little bit here, but there's some big sell side. Ooh, Apple was the big sell. So that's obviously going to send this market flying to that downside. 2.15 million shares right now to the sell side on Apple. So that is making some moves back down in. So, hey, good move there. What else is here? AT&T softy with a sell. I mean, my AMD is going to get clapped out right here as well as that's coming back down in. So, yeah, lots of moves. Microsoft sell side, BAC sell side, Apple. Yeah, big time sell movements. So that's going to create some downside pressure into this market again. But there it is.
Lows are right there. The lows are right there. 75 is like 3 points away. 74.50 is the low on these imbalances, or not on these imbalances, on the futures market as we start to take a look at the lows here. $5 billion, says Greg, to the sell side.
Yeah, I
Damn.
mean, that Apple trade alone.
Apple alone is huge. Look at that. They've paired 4.2 on the sells, 4.2, and they've still got another 1.6 to pair. That's a lot when it comes to Apple shorts. So Apple leading the market to the downside as we go, taking off. There goes Apple. There goes the market lows. Thank you very much. We're going into the weekend, having a nice break. When I mean break, I mean the market's breaking aggressively to the downside. So thank you very much, market. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure to meet you. We will see you 200 points lower when we get to that 4,100.
Yeah, the shorts are big time winning here right now. We saw that big imbalance, man. We just got out right there, so we'll cancel all of our trades right now into that sell. So you can hear the guys behind us pretty excited about that sell side imbalance, and we brought that to you, man. So there it is right there, a nice move down in the NASDAQ. I mean, and there's going to be I don't know if there's any other shows doing this, but there it is right there, sell side. We talked about that a long time ago. Big time movement to the downside there. Nice sell side moves happening. So boom goes the dynamite on that one. Yeah, streaming on YouTube. You guys are learning a lot visually, all this. This is great. Thank you so much, Din, Jaron there. And thank you for everything. Let's get some super chats going, guys. I mean, thank you to Taylor for that as well. Thank you to Dominic, that's been there. Thank you to Damian Stevens this week. What a monster week it's been if you've been short. If you've been long, close your eyes. Don't worry about your account. It will be back at some point. I have no idea where that is. But once again, guys, thank you so much. Sean getting crushed today? No, not getting crushed at all today, to be honest with you. So, I mean, just in case you guys wanted to know, like, if you're just joining now, I already shorted Apple 168. Sure, we got out 165, that stuff. But trust me, like, when you're trading these names and we're at a prop firm, we're levered up, you just do your own assessment there on whether or not you think Arun and I are up or down today. Up to you. I'll tell you we're both green. We'll leave it at that and move on from that. So we would show you our nets. We've already talked about this, why we don't do it. Search up FTC and something like that, and you'll find out somebody that shows you nets, and then you'll see what's up with that. So, yeah, we're watching this play. Here goes Netflix right back up to the upside. We're all about education, man. I don't need you guys to take me out of my CYN trades. You know what I'm saying? So here it comes, right up there to the upside. There goes Netflix, 215 still long. Hopefully it can hold out, man. But it looks like that 217.50 is a high. So we'll see about that right now coming through, 217.50. And yeah, we're on one, man. I mean, it's been a great week, a great day. And again, just thank you for everybody for watching, and thank you for the support, guys.
Yeah, he said we might show you the nets, but we're not going to. I'm never going to show you my net. That's not happening. So I don't even know what that's about, because nope. I'd rather you think I suck than me showing you my net. But here we are with the market after breaking the lows, bouncing back up to the upside here, 42.80, 40. I mean, we took out that 74, but keep in mind at 355, we get that update from the floor, and we're going to tell, that's going to say a lot about how this market's going to react. Remember, at 355, the floor shows its interest in these imbalances. And if Apple, I'm not seeing Apple here right now, but if Apple were to then, get bigger, wherever Apple is somewhere here, if Apple were to come back on the sell side, maybe that's why the market bounced, because Apple disappeared. But at 355, we will get an update from the floor. That'll show floor's interest. And then from there on out, this is what we take into 4 o'clock here. But the market is stalling out here around these lows. That says a lot about what this market's trying to do at the 74, 75 area. And we got about 15 seconds left before we actually decide, are we bouncing back up, putting in a false break of the lows and bouncing back up north of 80? Or are we going to extend this further down and take it into the end of the day? Here we go, 3 seconds, 2, and we are bouncing a little bit. Yeah, it looks like some buy-side action. Maybe some action was paired. No, back to the downside. In terms of imbalances, not much. They've paired for the most part. Apple, the big exciting one, is gone. So here we are kind of just waiting for this one to kind of get going here. Maybe Apple comes back. I don't know. I have very little faith that Apple will come back. But for the time being, FTXG is your largest at buy side. Oh, there goes FTXG. TAL, your buy side largest at 1.733 million shares.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I agree. People saying that, you know, we don't show nets on prop firm, and you guys, most of you know that, so whatever. Thanks, Dominic, man. Wow, that sounds nice and clear. We got earnings coming up soon, but thanks, Dominic, right now. Yeah, we need to fly to Lambeau for shareholder meetings, and when I do that, I'll be coming to see my Wisconsin friends, including you, Dominic, as well. Look, I'm just super excited about the kind of day that we've had here today in the market, and let's go over, we were missing Miss V earlier, and we said there wasn't too many earnings, but let's go over and have a look to see what we have heading into the weekend here.
There's obviously big names coming next week, guys. The biggest of the big names coming next week, but not a lot for Monday. That's what to expect for Monday.
Activision Blizzard. So Activision, so obviously the only one, Otis is elevators, I believe. Coca-Cola, what's up to Warren Buffett? They've been really performing well in this environment. I haven't looked at them the last couple. Yeah, I mean, they're at 52-week highs right now, Coke. And then what was the other one? Oh, Activision, right. The reason why Activision, I think, is a moot point again, because they do have that buyout underneath them there. Okay, Lucas is unplugging that. That's now dinging in my ear, so got to get rid of that. Yeah, so Activision Blizzard, one more thing there to look out for. But again, I think a nothing burger on that one. Arun, what a great day today. Yeah. It's been a pleasure working one more time here. And, oh, you went to a wedding at Lambeau. That's pretty awesome there, Dominic. Should have done that myself, but I'm not that big of a fan, but my wife probably would have killed me. That seems like an expensive trip for me to fly everybody down to Wisconsin, Green Bay from Toronto, but Wisconsin right there, as I hear Prad say in the background. But okay, yeah, any final words, Arun? I think you've been a very patient trader this week. Big hits, big losses, very patient on the, not big hits or big losses, just different styles of trading, and that's what we respect here on the show. You guys know Neil's different than myself. We're all different, all three of us, even different. Trader Prad's just born different, but yeah, trading different as well. I might just get out of this Netflix, man. With 2 minutes left to go, we're $1 in the money. I might just get out of this, but any words for our viewers here, Arun?
Guys, just remember the rules, man. Stick to your rules. Whatever strategy you've got, just follow it, right? The whole point of trading is to make money, and the only way you're going to make money is if you develop a strategy and then just execute that strategy time and time again. That's what the game is all about, right? At the end of the day, if you want to make money, you got to be consistent on how you execute. It's not about how you feel, not about what you think. All that stuff doesn't matter in this market. So if there's hopefully one thing that you guys learned from me over the last 2 weeks is to just execute, right? You see me trade, you don't know what I'm doing, but at the same time, you know, things are flying around here. So it's just me executing my trades. And a lot of the times, if I'm still in a position by the afternoon, rarely is that the case. It's usually because the market's trending and I'm just capitalizing on everything I possibly can. And you saw that yesterday from start to finish. It was just a matter of working those support resistance levels, as someone was asking earlier, right? So just execute your plan and just trust in whatever. I guess they say it all the time, trust the process, but it's hard to believe that when you were lost and you're just trying to figure your way around. It's just a matter of execution. It's a matter of developing a strategy and then testing it out and then making adjustments and then testing it out and then making adjustments. And I've been doing that for over 10 years to finally getting to a point where I'm like, you know what? Okay, I think I got it. And then you start, it's a long road. It's not an easy road, but that's why not everyone sticks around. That's just how the game is played.
Yeah, no wiser words, man. Thank you for those, Arun. So, yeah, look, great day. Thanks for all the super chats again today. Thanks for all the new members here. We are getting ready to close this day out. The funny thing is, man, and yeah, I'm not upset. It's just like I said that there could be some nice imbalances coming today, and it turns out that that's exactly what there was there. So with only 20 seconds left, man, let's see what happens now into the close. We do have our bell ringers getting ready to ring said bell. So here we go with only 10 seconds to go now. Miss V and T.Tony here. 6, 5, happy Friday, 3, 2, and 1. There we go. Yeah, give it to her. Give her the last one right there. Miss V ringing that register at the end of the day. Wow. The NASDAQ, I think we are at day's low right now. Not to spoil what Brendan's going to bring to you, but again, what a volatile week, man. I don't even want to ask I don't even know what the NASDAQ was down this week, but it feels like a hell of a lot. And another 2.73% coming off right now. How did we wind up, Brendan, overall, S&P, NASDAQ, et cetera?
I have to say it's been a long time since we've seen a board that looks like this, guys. A lot of 2% plus kind of moves here, top to bottom. Yeah, pretty ugly. 2.7, 2.4, 2.6. All three now red 3 weeks in a row. So, yeah, not much to say other than, hey, it's wine o'clock, apparently.
Wow, I was just going to say that. Let's just wrap this show up and go celebrate or not celebrate, whatever you're going to do. You can see the dudes behind us right now getting excited. They're all out of here. I want to give a big thank you. Trader Prad's going to be on camera in about 2 seconds. So thank you, Prad. I hope you had a good one there. Sounds like you were short into the close. Good trade there, Trader Prad, on that one. Thank you today was a busy day because we didn't have our earpieces. So I want to give an extra thanks today to Fahad and Lucas for working hard and trying to get our attention. That was not easy, and they did a good job of that. Glad to have Ms. V back. We missed you in the morning, but glad that you were here for the midday show. So shout out to Ms. V as well. Brendan brought a bunch of news to us today. The Bed Bath & Beyond was fantastic. A couple good runners today with LGVN and whatnot. So you guys, we'd be lost without Brendan. So a big thanks to that. Thanks on the back end to Maggie and to Liz. And a new hire today, Katrine, is now in the building. So Katrine, shout out to you. She's gonna be working on sales. And I walked by her and I said, welcome here. And she's watching sales videos. So how to on that one, Brendan, you know where those came from. So that should be fun. She's gonna be working through that. But big weekends. Any plans here today? Or I already asked, did I ask you, Arun? I did.
But I mean, I leave it up to my wife. She'll let me know what the plans are.
Okay, so we'll let her, and what about you, Brendan?
I am very excited and very happy to announce that after 9 months waiting,
got a house?
I am taking delivery of a stove tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
9-month wait, Sean. My stove is coming tomorrow. So very happy.
Brendan can finally cook. Good job, Brendan.
Yay.
I can't believe we're clapping for stove delivery, but I mean, that's absolutely fantastic. Brendan, you're the one that reports to us supply chain issues. So There you go. That's another one. Anyways, let's wrap this up. It's been a great week, man. I hope a lot of you have had some good trades. Ms. V, is your mic on? No, okay. Any plans this weekend? Secret. Ooh. Secret plans. Now I'm interested. Okay. We'll talk after. All right. Thanks to everybody. It's been a great week. I hope you guys have some plans too. Have some fun. Enjoy the weather. And we'll see you back Monday at 8:30. Ciao, guys.